Hey, hi there. It's June 18th, 2024. This is Bob from the Two Old Guys Garage on the Window Coupe Street Rod project, which is still pending. Let's see, this morning I disconnected the exhaust headers on both sides that run back to the muffler. And I undid the nuts on the front motor mount and jacked it up a little bit to see how it went, and then discovered that this corner was interfering with the power cable from the battery to the starter coming up. So I dropped it down a little bit, took the grinder and took the corner off. So right now it's up in the air. If you look down there, I guess you can't see it. You can see it's probably about maybe 3-4 inches up in the air from the motor mount. The two bottom transmission bolts are off. Excuse me for the noise. Come on. That's the bottom two of these. This is the only thing holding the transmission in. I got a strap around it. It's all disconnected on the bottom, and what I'm going to do is wait for Randy the Riveter, my son-in-law, to come home from work tonight and see if we can auger that guy out. I think I can come up a little more. I have to check. Seems like it reached a little bit of a stop. Anyway, this is segment 1 of part 2 of the 32 Ford Coupe clutch. Fix them up, get rid of the grinding gears. That's it for now. Short one. Catch you later. Bye-bye. Hi. June 19th, 2024. Bob from the Two Old Guys Garage with the Window Coupe Street Rod project. Transmission is out. It was kind of stuck, but I went down underneath and found out that the casting on the bottom, those little tits, are perfect fit for a pry bar. Touched it just a little bit and it snapped out, but unfortunately too heavy for me to lift these days, so I had Lou come over and I went underneath and pushed and had 2 straps tied, and it's out. Okay, so, and there it is over here, ready to be done, whatever. Now, one of the things we were looking for was rust on the spline, but if you look here, it's kind of dry, but it's not really rusty. And then I've cleaned the pilot bearing part off because I thought it was burned, but it was dried up grease. So one of the things I'll be doing is taking and pulling the bushing, the bronze bushing, out of here and the crank end, and putting the ball bearing one in, cleaning the splines up, lubricating with German Molly lube for splines and CV joints and so on. That's coming today from Amazon, but doesn't look too bad. The other thing is the clip is missing here, and the fact that it's close to the cover is the only reason that it was still shifting and didn't fall out. So I'll have to get the spring tight clips, maybe get a set, replace them all, maybe get a set of bushings, and then clean all this, take this puppy apart and clean it, and do the 1/4 inch shaft alignment, which I did a while back. Now, by the way, if you're curious about that there, that moves the upper part of this shift to the right by that amount, about 1.5 inches. That was necessary because the shift location was kind of jamming into my right leg. So I did move that over a couple of years ago. It made a lot of difference. I think I did it back when I was adjusting the seats to go back, which involved taking a cutout in the shelf so I could move the driver's side seat back more, and then taking a spacer out and pulling the steering column up, a little better angle and more knee room. And then with all the trouble that I had pulling this quarter panel off, didn't have that problem on the left side because I took the quarter panel out a couple years ago to make more leg room for moving my foot off and on of the clutch. Made a world of difference. I've suffered through that for 60 odd years, almost having to put on small shoes to make sure I could get at the clutch. Anyway, there's the inside. Not totally dry, signs of grease that dropped off the throw-up bearing. And let me take this off. I've tested the fit of the Speedway hydraulic clutch bearing slave cylinders, and it fits good. Spline looks to be in good shape. The shaft when moving the bearing thing is okay. There's no grooves or anything. So all that'll be lubed up with the German Molly Lube spline grease. And I'm gonna knock it off. It's hot again. Oh, almost. It's only 88 degrees. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna knock off and bring this. This is part 2, segment 2 of the 32 Ford. Improve the shifting on the clutch so it doesn't grind the gears, which hopefully when we put the better slave bearing on and the ball bearing that's scheduled for this, it's all going to work good. By the way, to pull the bushing out, obviously I got to take the bell housing off, got to take the clutch off, and to that end, anticipation, I've ordered from Amazon a 10 spline T10 pilot shaft to put the clutch back in. And I noted that Harbor Freight has a 2-jaw inside bearing puller which closes up to a 1/2 inch, where this is 0.593, so it should be able to fit into the bronze bushing and pull it out. It says here in fine print. Anyway, quitting for the day. Close the door. All right, stop crapping around, Bob. I'm heading in. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Hello, this is Bob from the Tool Guy's Garage. Today is June 20th, 2024. This is part 2, segment 3 of getting the clutch shift to be improved on the T10 transmission. Just a short, quick catch-up. I was able to locate a steel bushing and clip repair kit for the Hurst Competition Plus shifter. That was on Amazon and it's coming. It should be here in a couple, 2-3 days. I took the rear transmission mount off, which is here. And for those of you that are familiar with General Motors, this thing is collapsed. Normally this part stays up above here, maybe 1/2 to 5/8 of an inch, something like that. So it's shot. The rubber is still rubber, but there's no cushion there. So I got a new one of those coming from Rock Auto. The German liquid moly spline grease came in, and fortunately it's a bigger tube than I thought, so that'll help. What else? Oh, cleaned up the bell housing a little bit. Cleaned the face of the bell housing up, and then I took a kind of a crude depth measurement with a piece of steel. Now this is the piece of steel right here, and determined that this piece is in fact not going to hit the end of the crankshaft, and that's If you look there, that first black mark is the end of the crankshaft, so there's some space between the end and that. And then the second black mark is where the bushing comes out, and you can see that lines up with this discoloration there, which I wiped off. It seemed to be hardened grease, and I'm not sure if the coloration isn't part of friction, kind of a burn type mark. I'll clean it up with emery in any case. So the bushing kit and for the shifter is on order. I've decided that there's not really any choice. I'm going to have to put the hydraulic slave cylinder on the same side, my United Kingdom side for the bell housing, where I've shifted that over. There just isn't any room over there. That's the clutch pedal, or rather the brake pedal that goes down right next to the opening on the left-hand side. That piece that's sticking out is a flap that I had glued in to keep the shit out of there, and it's open because I had put an endoscope in to try to take a look at the spline of the clutch and see if I could determine anything, which we're past that. So the slave bearing, instead of tipping up at the 2 o'clock position, it'll be at the 10 o'clock position, and the two lines will come out through this rubber, one being the extension for the air bleed, and the other one is going to run, I'm going to run flicks all the way along the pathway of which I run the existing hydraulic brake line, which is that guy right there. So I measured kind of like it, and it looks like a 4-foot should do it, hopefully, and I've got a 4-foot double female AN4 fitting. I had trouble finding the proper bushing to change on the back of the master cylinder. That's that brass piece there where the 1/4-inch brake line goes. I had trouble finding one that was a 1/2-inch 20 thread that screwed directly into the master cylinder. And in fact, I had trouble actually with this one being quality control screw up and undersized and being loose, and finally finding it. So where this went into the clutch master cylinder, the new adapter will go in, fit these threads, have a copper washer to seal, and then this end will be a male AN4, which is that size. This is for the remote brake bleeding, fluid bleeding. Anyway, so while in the quarter panel, yeah, that's the quarter panel thing. This is the rubber that goes on the door pull, so that when you open the door, you don't get the door going past the hinges and screwing everything up. And these things go inside here. And that, obviously, from the looks of it, is the original 1932 rubber. You can see there's one over there that I put on when I took that panel out and opened it up for clutch foot room. So, I needed a piece of rubber. Looked through my parts bin, and wherever it is, I was looking. Oh, yeah. This is perfect. This is a shock absorber bushing for the type that's a 3/8 rod. This fits perfectly. It's got enough stiffness to it that it'll work good. So here again, you can see this is the original 32 one, and stiff as a brick. Not bad for all those years. By the way, the collapsing of this, the T10 was installed and converted to the TN in June of '71, and May of '73 I blew the second gear and the matching cluster and had to rebuild the transmission. So it was pulled out in '73, and obviously it was okay then, but in the interim, 50 whatever years, it's used up its life. So a lot of tiny things going on that are going to be beneficial, I'm sure, to the whole overall project. And with that, I'll leave you and say sayonara until the next segment or whatever it is. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.